Good evening, everybody. Jenny, how's it going? Daniel, Stretch Nuts, Pale Rider, Jason Perry. Busy day today for me. Battleborn. So, you're the first one. You should get a wrench. Well, Jenny, as I see you more and more, I'll get to know you, and then you'll get a wrench. Dennis Smith, what's up? Hilltop Trucker, Ron. Did someone get butthurt over your last video or something? Yeah, let's talk about that, Ron. Good evening, y'all, says Ryan Clark. So, I put out a video, I think it was on Monday. And everything's all right, Jenny. It says message. Probably can't see that. Message to new Schneider Choice owner-operators. 146 of you saw it. Then I made it private. Captain Jim, what's up? And let me do something here real quick. Here's the thing, guys. Hold on. There's the echo. Captain Jim, I'm going to check. Go to channel. Yeah, I haven't subscribed to you, dude. Click on the bell. There, I'm subscribed to you now, Jim. I wasn't subscribed. You were talking about your videos earlier. I was like, why am I not getting notifications? So, Jenny, did you have something happen to you in your life there? Daniel, I'll get to the video. So here's what happened, okay? And I hope Rizzo comes in here. But there's a couple of ICs that I've talked to recently. And one of them was kind of like already getting frustrated, and he's only been at it for 2 weeks. And so I thought, well, I'm going to put out some kind of positive video. Just hang in there. You know, you got to show a little bit of patience. You got to... Hold on a second. Jenny says, my brother took his life over his wife cheating on him for the past 23 years. Thank you for asking. Jenny, I am so sorry to hear that. Jenny, that saddens me because I've had friends that have killed themselves, and I'm sorry to hear that. I love my wife dearly, but she's not worth killing myself over. So, I'm sorry to hear that, Jenny. So, but here's the thing with Schneider, okay? When you go through orientation, they teach you all the safety stuff. They teach you how to do load planning, but they really don't teach you the tools that you need that like Jeff's old videos used to talk about, and all the strategies to find loads to work the program. And at Landstar, it was, you went through 180 days and you took what they call a CABS class, and that's when they showed you how to use the tools in your toolbox. And Schneider doesn't have anything like that, so that you got a lot of new guys that are overwhelmed with information as being first-time owner-operators, and it could be frustrating. It could be very daunting. When I went to Landstar, all I heard was it's going to take 6 months to a year to get it down, and that was true. And it's the same here. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll put out a video and, trying to say, keep your head up, keep your chin up, hang in there, that kind of thing. And I was criticized for it. Now, at first I was kind of like bummed out about it. But then I thought, maybe Rizzo was right, because, here's a perfect example, okay? Years ago, Oprah Winfrey put out a book called Making the Connection. It was about her weight loss journey. And there was a lot of good advice. I bought the book. There was a lot of good advice, but there was a part of you that said, you know what? Anybody that's a millionaire that could hire a trainer that lives with you, of course you're going to be able to lose 100-something pounds. So if Oprah was to say, hang in there, you can lose weight, you're tempted to go, go F yourself. You have no idea what my life is like. So I thought, well, maybe I just fell in that category. Maybe me telling, new Snyder ICs to hang in there was kind of wrong, because what was implied was that, well, Steve, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a Snyder Finance IC. So your problems are different. So you can't give advice. You can't just tell those guys to hang in there when they got, $1,100 worth of payments. Okay? Now, Jason Perry says, been IC for 3 months, been up and down. What helped was running areas I was used to and taking my time, still learning the board. And you're right, not wrong, sir. Right. It's going to take time. The guys that are getting home every other day or every weekend, that you have to work your way up to that. So what was buried was my message. All I was trying to do was convey a message of, hey, it's going to get rough, but hang in there, okay? Now, it was brought up that, well, Steve, your costs are different than your typical Snyder Finance IC. It wasn't always like that. I did the math one time. My Peterbilt, the last year that I had that truck, if you add the truck payments, the maintenance, the breakdown, all the stuff, all the costs associated with that truck, guess what? That truck cost me $1,000 a week, which is about where the Snyder Finance guys are at. So I know what it's like to have an expensive truck. And if it wasn't for friends like Jeffrey Light telling me, hey, hang in there, you've got support, you can do this, then I might have thrown in the towel 2 years ago when the Peterbilt was draining me dry. And that's all I was trying to do. That's all I was. But some people seem to think that my message is invalid because I don't have an expensive Snyder Finance truck. This truck could break down tomorrow and cost $20,000. Guess what? Boom, I'm up there with the Snyder Finance guys. So I didn't take down the video. I made it private, okay? Because I wanted to evaluate. I wanted to sit there and like, well, I don't want the Oprah effect. I didn't want to have that effect. I didn't want people to think that, well, yeah, of course Steve's doing good over there. His truck payment's like a third of what I'm paying. Well, I've been through the ringer. I've been through the struggle. It was my struggles with the Peterbilt that got me this truck. And it's my knowledge of other channels, that the knowledge I got from Jeffrey and other owner-operators, that, hey, you know what? I'm going to get my costs down. But there are plenty of Snyder ICs here that are Snyder Finance trucks that are making $3,000 and $4,000 a week. And they're getting home. So, but yet my message is invalid because, you know, I've managed to get my costs down. So, what are you driving now as your PU? I'm driving a Kenworth. So let's go over the comments here. Big Rich says, I'm a first-time owner operator, gross 3,200 in 3 days, empty and ready for tomorrow. Excellent. Day 3 of orientation, Hilltop Trucker. Are you the one that emailed me the other day, Hilltop? Yeah, Ryan, it is overwhelming. Dude, let me tell you about Landstar's orientation, okay? Their orientation was 3 days. And each day, it was basically 7 to 5:30, okay? With 1 hour taken out for lunch. I remember going to my truck and just sitting here at the steering wheel, just kind of staring. I couldn't talk on the phone. I couldn't get on Facebook or YouTube or any of that. I just sat here like a vegetable trying to absorb everything that was just thrown at me. And when you're a first-time owner operator, that's going to happen. So naturally, when I came to Schneider, it was a lot easier. But it's still overwhelming for the first, if you're a first-time guy. And Schneider Finance definitely makes that process easier. So that's the thing, guys. If you go to a dealership and buy a truck on your own, that's not the easiest task. Steve Berger will tell you that. It's not like going, car dealerships, when you want to buy a car, if you got good credit, man, you can get any car you want, and it's like that, right? Not when you buy a truck. It doesn't work like that at all. Nada. Nothing. Nothing is similar when you buy a truck. So Hilltop, good luck to you, man. If you're the person that emailed me, then, we'll have to have a phone conversation. But see, I tell new guys this all the time. I'll ask them, I said, are you going through orientation yet? And they're like, no. I said, don't, I won't even talk to you till after orientation because you're going to be overwhelmed with all the information. So talking to me now is not going to do any good because you're not going to remember any of it. So... Jason Perry says, I'm glad I found your channel. It's been helping me. Well, that's cool, Jay. What's weird is, like, I really don't see myself as being that helpful on my videos. I really don't. I think the biggest thing is, well, hold on. Adam Gallagher says, Steve, the point here is that even if they criticize you, they're essentially starting a new business. Right. Larry Fisher says, Snore, you're one of the good ones because you care. You're proving it right now. Well, thank you, Larry. The balance sheet is the same, meeting your costs is the same, and having a strategy is the same. Right, Adam. Food Mooch, what's up? You don't give disinformation, you give information. Nothing wrong with that. Right. Well... yeah, everybody's in here, man. This is cool. I dig this, man. Trucks are commercial vehicles. Get a business plan and gather information. Chocolate for Hawks. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. There's a lot more information out there now than there was just 3 years ago when I started. When I started, this is how my channel first started, guys. I was one of only 2 people from Landstar doing videos. And I was the only one doing consistent videos. And they weren't even informational videos. They were like, well, here I am at Landstar. I booked this load and I did this. And cool. That was it. I wasn't telling you how to do anything. Ryan Clark says orientation is like a terrorist attack on your ability to consume mass amounts of info in a short period of time. Right. I will buy a lottery ticket before I buy a truck. I saw the video in the comments. Could be that particular person was just having a bad week or a bad month or took your video the wrong way. Yeah, you know, Rizzo didn't really attack me. He just kind of... He said it was strange hearing that from me. And, you know, the thing that did bother me a little bit is he said that I've bragged about not having a Snyder Finance truck. And I don't know if brag's really the right word. But maybe I have. Maybe, you know, here's the thing, guys. Whenever I do a live video, I actually watch after the fact, make sure I didn't make a fool of myself, or I'm like, well, that was stupid. You know, I've deleted a few. And because I don't want to turn into a parody of myself. You know, there are certain YouTubers, we're not going to name them, but they go live like 4 or 5 times in a day, like a certain person's done today. And they're putting out really useless information. And it's not even entertaining. So if there's no entertainment value, no information value, then it's just annoying. And I don't want to be one of those guys. Snorlord, you put out great content. I've never known you to put out bad information. Just because some people disagree with you doesn't make you wrong. Yeah, I just don't want to come across as being arrogant. You know, that's been told to me too. And I don't want to sit there and like, well, you know, anybody can do this program because, you know, it's blah, blah, blah. You know, like, well, what do you know about the Snyder Finance side, Steve? You know, but here's the thing, man. When I first came over here at Snyder, a friend of mine came over here with me. He had a Snyder Finance truck. We ran the same area. We did a lot of the same loads. He was home every weekend. And granted, he had to work a little bit harder than me, but for the most part, I saw what he dealt with. And when the Peterbilt was going really far south, you can ask Jeffrey Like. I actually called him. I asked him. I said, you know, I'm actually considering the Snyder Finance route. And if it wasn't for one of their salespeople being kind of, I don't know, idiotic with me, I might be in a Snyder Finance truck right now. So it's not like it's a bad option. You're gonna work. I don't have to work as hard as those guys, but there's nothing wrong with me saying, hey, you know what? Hang in there, because who else is doing that? Who else is giving you a positive message that you can do this? You know, every now and then we need to hear, hey, you got this. You know, and let's forget the owner operator aspect. You know, let's talk. If you're a new driver to the industry, you're going to have rough days, man. The first 2 years of being a truck driver were the hardest years of my life, because you're dealing with a whole new set of skill sets, and you're dealing with family stuff, and you're dealing with a lot of emotions, a lot of different things, and a lot of, you know, you're basically choosing to be a second-class citizen that gets no respect. You're taking all the risk, all the danger, you know, and there are times when you're like, ta-da, and no one cares, you know? And so we need to support each other. So I'll probably make the video back to public, but I just, you know, I talked to James Best today, and I asked him, I said, did you see that video? And he's like, yeah. I said, did it come across as arrogant? Did it come across as like, did you want to yell at the screen and say, Steve, you don't know what the hell you're talking about because you don't have a Snyder Finance truck? Because here's the thing. You could be a new owner operator over here and not have a Snyder Finance truck, and my message was still the same. So Ron says you've never come across as arrogant to me. Well, I'm glad, Ron. Sometimes I watch my video, I'm like, boy, I'm an a-hole. Dennis Smith says Snorlord owes me a jar of cherries. What the hell are you talking about? Daniel said he passed through Springfield, Missouri this morning. You and the machine. Hell, the machine went through Springfield today, too. Larry Fisher, good question. Oh, okay. He's asking if Pale Rider's going to have story time tonight. Just be sure you have your garlic handy to keep the vampires away and make the food taste better. I've got the garlic. I'm from Akron, Ohio. I'm here in good area. Akron, Ohio, Hilltop Trucker is the best area to be in if you're a Snyder IC. I kid you not, dude. Yeah, you're in the best area that we could have. Big Rich says orientation as company driver is absolute hell. I hear you. Ryan says that, yes, the truck is pricey, but the program has helped people like me who couldn't have done this otherwise do it and learn the game, along with your help and Jeff's and Burgers. Right. Thomas says, I watch you religiously. I've never heard you brag on anything. I've never heard you be arrogant. Well, I appreciate that, Thomas. Why am I your uncle, Daniel? That's so weird. Good evening, Jenny. Says, nailed it. Anthony says, exactly. Trucking is the number one most dangerous job. Passed up law enforcement. Yeah. Guys, if you're going to watch videos for info, you need to take the parts you like and try if it works. If you can build on it, or if you don't, then try something else. I learned from failure. That Jason Perry, you touched on a good point. My original videos, and I took down all the Landstar videos, and I kind of regret that. And my Landstar years was me showing you how I've struggled. Like, it was not informational whatsoever. It wasn't until these live feeds that people start asking me my advice and stuff. And here's the thing. I don't want to get a big head. I don't want to sit there and like, all right, it's time for me to tell you what to do. Because there are some YouTubers that do that. Jeffrey Likes got a really good way of teaching people. He's a born teacher. But there are other people that try to act like teachers, and they're not. But they got this big head. Well, I'm the help guy, so let's help you. I don't want to be that guy, because I don't want to do videos just for the sake of doing videos. Like Kevin and Ollie had a really good live feed the other day, and he was talking about a lot of there are a lot of YouTubers, like, he said he was taking the monetization thing off his channel, which is fine. But I've monetized my videos, but that's not the motivation for doing them. I've made enough money to pay for this GoPro I've got. And that's it. So it's like it's money that comes back to me, but I'm not sitting here doing my analytics going, oh, I need to do more videos about the E-log mandate, because that'll get me views. In fact, I took off my E-log mandate video that I had because, you know why? Because there was too many stupid arguments about it. And I don't want to be a contributor to that. But I don't sit there and look at my analytics. Like the video I did about the band, about uploading all of Apnea's music on the Bandcamp, I've had 99 views on that video. You know why? Because people don't watch me for my music stuff. But, it's an outlet. But, Kevin was talking about this being a creative outlet, and that's kind of what it is to me. It's like, it's an open chat room like what we got now, but it's also a creative outlet where I use music with driving stuff. And that's something I've been wanting, I've always wanted. I did on my own channel, Oh, we're caught up on the comments. But so I just wanted to address that video. I'm gonna put it back up. But right away, you know, it's like when you do a YouTube channel, you gotta have a thick skin, and I get that. And some videos are just gonna cause arguments. You know, there was one guy that was calling me an idiot because he thought that I said that dollar mile was good freight, and I never said that. I just said, you know, you might get something for $1 a mile to get fuel or something. It was something stupid like that. And he took it as like oh, look at this idiot. It's people like this that think, you know, $1 a mile is good. That's what's the problem with this industry. Okay, so that's not what my message was. You want to know what the number one problem in this industry is? You guys, okay, let's do this, okay? I want you to say in the comments what you guys think is the number one problem in the industry. Like Lady Gaga. No, you didn't. Rah, 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 rah. You got that song in my head, Dennis. What is the number one problem in this industry? Oh, wait. All right, so let's see some of the answers here. We got hours of service, says Peterbilt Mark. Jenny says shippers and receivers. Big Rich says snore taking cheap freight. Stu says detention. Dennis Smith says number one problem is fake cheeseburgers at hot bars. I agree. Industry is too fractured, says Rhymes with Orange. Getting lost in Pennsylvania. You guys are funny. People, Craig Watson, you're close. No free food. Food mooch, yeah. There's free food out there if you want to go trash picking. Cheap freight? No. Number one, no one listens? Kinda. Here's the problem with the industry. You guys ready? Attitude. Attitude is the number one problem in this industry. Attitude against drivers, attitude against each other, attitude against everything. The attitude. See, here's the thing. Let's pretend you're fresh out of CDL school and you are working for a company. There's a right way to deal with that company and a wrong way to deal with that company. Case in point. Okay, I'm going to use this guy as an example. Dread Pirate Trucker. Anybody watch his channel? What is his number one problem? His attitude against the company. He went to the company side of the same place Pale Rider's at. And when he first got there at CalArc, he was all like, oh man, this is the greatest company. I love it here, blah, 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 blah. Then within a month, his attitude went downhill. You know, suddenly they weren't doing things right. Suddenly they didn't know anything at safety. They didn't know this, that, you know, all this stuff, right? What changed? CalArc didn't change overnight. What changed? His attitude. Attitude. When I came out here, the negativity was overwhelming. We don't eat right. We don't sleep right. We're not treated right. We're under a lot of stress in one of the most dangerous jobs holy crap. This dude just did 50 miles an hour in this parking lot. Sorry, guys. We're treated like crap. So that negativity is out there. You know, and you know, and sometimes you just get a bad rap. And you could send 2 drivers to the same place with the same truck and the same load and the same delivery times. And one's going to get there and said, oh man, it was an easy ride, you know, and the other one's like, oh, this sucked, you know, just like, you know, angry. Well, who's happier? So the more negativity is like a snowball effect. And that's why there should be a movement with these other YouTubers to not put out negative content anymore. But it's just like my video I put out, you know, a couple months ago about the most important thing is trucking is up here. You could have think about this. You can have the best truck. You can have the newest truck, work for the best company, and have all the best tools, but if you have a crappy attitude, that doesn't help you. And that to me is the problem, because if you have a negative attitude, if you have a bad attitude about things, things don't get fixed. You know, I overheard 2 guys on the CB. You know, one of them let me in this traffic jam. You know, gotta let Snyder in. Come on over, Snyder. Thank you. And then they started talking among themselves about how the mega carriers are the reason for the E-log mandate and how they were, you know, like, I guess Blue Beacon supports the ATA, so we're not going to support Blue Beacon, and just hatred, man. I've got a target on my back because of that orange trailer now. And that's attitude. And hey, Kevin and Ollie, what's up? I was just talking about you, Kevin. Here's the thing, man. I think I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. I was at Transland, right? And I pull up to the yard, and I set my brakes. I get out of the truck. And this dude's like, he's just like sulking. He's just like, you know. This guy was pissed off, right? Before I get my story, Cobra 66 says, Wisconsin DOT gave me a violation for being off duty, saying it should have been sleeper berth. Let's get into that. We'll get into that here in a second, Cobra. All right. So, anyways, this guy, he's like, I go, what's going on? He's like, oh man, you know, safety gal, she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know a thing about this. I'm like, how long have you been driving? Like 2 years. Okay. Well, she's been a safety director for like, you know, so many, you know, I forget how many years. And, well, you know, so starts scribing about that. He goes, yeah, they sent me to this place. I think they did it on purpose because they know I don't like it there. And, you know, so I think that's why they sent me there. I'm like, well, you know, because I'm looking at going somewhere else. I'm like, well, you got RBX down the road. Oh, well, I don't like Freightliners. Oh, they don't have APUs on their truck. Well, you got IWX. I won't do reefer. And I was like, well, you got Prime. Oh, you never get home with Prime. You know, it's you had to complain about every single thing. And then I said, well, maybe you ought to just get your own authority, become an owner operator. He's like, well, no, I can't do that, you know, because that's too much risk. I'm like, you can't sit there and gripe about, you know. So anyways, this guy didn't last but like a couple of months over at Transland. And meanwhile, you know, I got along with every dispatcher I had. I got along with everybody in the office in there. And they like me to this day. To this day, I could still go in there and we can talk like I still work there, and I still park there. Why? Because every single time, you know, here's the thing, guys. Dale Carnegie, I've talked about this book before. Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You got to be a people person. Because you can walk, you know, like where I picked up the load today in Oklahoma, the lady that checks you in, she's got a really bad attitude, you know, and I try to kill her with kindness. You know, I'm like, yes, ma'am, how's it going? How are you? You know, and the customer I had previously this morning, I made 2 of the people laugh. And guess what? I was unloaded in 45 minutes because I made the lumper gal, you know, laugh and joke. Everybody else, you know, took like an hour and a half. So attitude is everything, guys. Attitude is everything. Because if you have a bad attitude, you can have the best situation and you're going to make it worse. Whereas if you have a good attitude about the worst situation, then you can conquer it. Then you can learn from it. Then you can, you know, get going on it. Cobra says that's why I turn my CB off. I find that I'm much more positive about life in general, nothing but negative energy. Cobra, you know, the thing with the CB radio is this. I've been known to lighten the mood on the CB radio. And, you know, Ike Stevens is in the house. Ragtube Productions. How's it going there, Ike? But attitude is everything. Now, Cobra, we're talking about the Sleeper Birth thing. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of guys say that they show off duty. The only time you want to show off duty, okay, is if you're at home or you're actually outside of the truck. Like if you go into the Denny's to have food, you should be showing off duty. Okay? As long as you're in the seat and the truck's off, you can show Sleeper Birth. And sometimes the DOT will go through a truck stop and they'll, you know, they'll get people on little stuff like that. So the only time I've ever, you know, or like, you know, an incident where you get fuel and you pull up and you go in to get a cup of coffee and a sandwich, that should be off duty. Anytime that you're out of the truck should be off duty. If you're doing a 34 somewhere, if you want to get technical, a 34 reset at a truck stop, which, you know, then anytime that you get out to do the shower or to go eat in the restaurant or to go, you know, beat up old people or whatever you do on your off time, you want to count that as off duty. But anytime you're sitting in the truck, you want to show Sleeper. Plain and simple. Pull me in the bay. Okay. Celtic Barb. My son's truck keeps breaking down. He has a lease. He called up, said they're going to let him out of the lease a bit early and he's going to get a new truck. He is now 1 year trucking. He made his year. Congratulations on making the year. See, Celtic Barb, it's attitude. You know, I hope your son has a positive attitude. So, you know, that, you know, and if I know where he's at, you know, they'll work with you. So, mine was a drop and hook. Dennis Smith says mine was a drop and hook instead of live unload because I drive with Schneider. See, here's the thing, guys. There's a lot of BS no matter what company you go with. Okay, there's a lot of people that complain about Schneider micromanaging us, right? Well, they've got to manage 30,000 trailers? And they got to, you know, they're a starter company, so they got a lot of new guys that are just screwing things up. It's just the nature of the beast. You know, a lot of people complain about the trailer pool over here. Guess what? If you work for any company that has a lot of drop and hook, you're going to have issues where you find tires that are not right. You find issues with the trailers. They're not going to have any trailers. That's just the nature of the beast. When I was at Landstar, hell, you might do a drop and not have a hook, and it might be a week before you get a trailer. So when I came over here and said, oh, they'll just send you somewhere to get a trailer, and if it's over 50 miles, they'll pay you for it. Sweet. You know, because Landstar didn't do that. So, you know, it's all perception. You know, when I came over here, there's a lot of people like, oh, screw Snyder, I'm going to Landstar. And they do. You know, in a way, they're doing better. But, you know, they almost become shocked that I came over here from Landstar. And they're like, why'd you come over here? I'm like, because it's so easy over here. There's less, believe it or not, people, there's less BS here than what I dealt with at Landstar. So, you know, but again, it's all an attitude. There are guys that do really well there, and there are guys that don't do well there. It's just like here. Jeffrey Likes in the house. Jeffrey Like doesn't like me anymore. I tried calling him a couple of times, and he doesn't answer his phone. I can never find old people to beat up on my brakes. I hate that. This is Ryan. Easy there, old people watching you. Yeah, including myself. Celtic Barb, he says some days he could be trying, but he rallies and figures it out. Guys, I'll tell you this. If you're a new driver, and Jamie, if you're watching, this includes you too. It's going through your first year, first 2 years out here is like boot camp. Plain and simple. You got to go through the ringer. You got to make mistakes. You got to have close calls. You got to have things that put it all in perspective. Because if everything worked perfectly out here, guess what? That complacency will kick your ass. Plain and simple. Complacency can be your enemy. So it's through struggles, and I said this in that video, it's through our struggling that you learn. It's through our struggling that you get strength. And that was what the message I was trying to do in that last video. But of course, it came across as, well, Steve, you know, you don't know what you're talking about because you've got it easier than some of the other guys out here. That's the Landstar Blues, says Jeffrey Like. Yep. Pale Rider TV says, hired on the Like Trucking as in-house videographer. Heck yeah. Cobra says, I was just trying to cooperate. He asked what I did 4 days ago in Louisiana, whether I was in sleep or off duty. I told him I had no idea what I did yesterday. He asked if I was in hotel. I said no. See, that guy just had it in for you, Cobra. Anthony T says he had to drive 2 to 3 states to find it empty when I was at Celadon. Yeah, see, it happens everywhere. Jeffrey says I'm his favorite. Yukon, is Yukon in the house? Any word on Godson and his issue really sucks what happened to his truck? Jason, last I heard is that he's able to move the truck, get a new headlight, and he's able to roll while they order the parts. So he doesn't have a whole lot of downtime. And so, you know, that's good news. So I miss his live feed after it happened. You know, it's like, went to bed, next morning I woke up with the text messages of what happened to his truck, and I was just like, wow, man. Just, you know, it's hard, man. It's hard. And I will admit, man, there's a lot of stuff that I've been lucky on, but I think a lot of it is attitude. You know, and guys, don't get me wrong, I don't have a perfect attitude. You know, I've been known to curse at four-wheelers. But see, here's the thing. Four-wheeler cuts you off. You have a choice. You hit the brakes, of course. You can flip them off, yell at them, and then forget it. You can't dwell on it. That's how road rage starts, is you dwell on something. Hey, you cut me off. I'm going to make sure that you know that I'm mad, so I'm going to cut you off and possibly put you in the ditch. You know, that's attitude. You know, Cars are like, four-wheelers are like children. Some are good, some are bad, but they all don't know any better. And that's pretty much, you can't dwell on it. You can't dwell on the 3 cars that just cut you off, because guess what? It's going to happen again and again and again and again. You can't dwell on the guy that is doing his 30-minute in the fuel island. He's doing his 30-minute break. Guess what? He's going to do it whether you tell him he's an a-hole or not. Think about this. You see somebody doing their 30-minute break at the fuel island, you go, "Hey man, this is wrong." Name one time that a guy's going to go, "Oh man, no way. I didn't realize that I shouldn't be taking my 30-minute break in the fuel island." No, that's not going to happen. The guy knows he's an a-hole. He knows he's not being courteous. And he knows that he should be doing something different. So if you sit there and dwell on his ignorance, it doesn't help you. It just makes you angry. Why add that angry? Why add that misery? Why dwell on that? It's kind of like that guy Ike Stevens, approached at the fuel island, right? That guy didn't look phased. He didn't. He was flaunting for the camera. Once he knew it was going to be on YouTube, he was doing the double finger and the whole 9 yards. And I bet you right now, right this minute, that guy's in the fuel island doing his 30-minute break. I got to give Ike, props for trying, but at the same time, when you're an a-hole, you just don't care, and that's attitude, man. That's the number one problem in this industry is attitude. The music trucker, aka Bandit, says, "My first year I put the truck in the ditch. Haven't done it since." Yeah, that's a learning experience. For sure. Anthony says he pays Pill Rider and Jeffrey to answer his comments. Big Rich says, "If Welcome Back doesn't welcome me back, I'm going to have a mental breakdown." There he goes. Oh man, you guys are all about the comments. I might have to. I like when they cut me off and flip me off, says Zach Robinson. A friend of mine told me something very valuable. I said, you can sit there and if a car flips you off, if that bothers you, then guess what? This job ain't for you, because it's going to happen. Sometimes you don't even know why. I had a guy flip me off the other day. I didn't cut him off. I didn't get in front of him. I was just sitting here and he passed me. I don't know if he had a thing. Maybe I'm being blamed for the E-log. Because I'm a mega carrier. I'm the evil mega carrier. Buffering. When I took my... Okay, be real construct... Makes for a fun YouTube, though, right? Yeah, right, Kevin and Ollie? You look like you got struck by lightning. We're talking about the guy in Ike's video, yeah? Yeah, see, but, you take a look at that guy. He doesn't care about himself. So why should he care about you? Why should he care about courtesy? Think about the thing that happened in Kentucky last week, guys. A driver lost his head over a courtesy at the fuel island and shot at another driver. And he realized, guess what? I'm over the edge. I just shot at another driver over something stupid, and he put a bullet in his head. Why? Because they were angry about the fuel island courtesy. That's attitude. It's all attitude, man. Attitude. If everybody had just the right attitude, you wouldn't have all the problems that the industry has. Yeah, sorry, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Lexus thought he had a snore freeze there on for a second. Yeah, because I've just been sitting here. I'm not reading comment. I'm reading comments, but I'm not reading out loud. Bandit says they're just telling you that you're number one, right? Zach Robinson says, I think every person should drive a truck as a high school requirement. I think they'd be a little smarter when they are older. Zach, instead of that, here's the thing. When you go through driver's ed, they have a whole day dedicated to railroad safety. Railroad tracks, trains, all that stuff. But there's nobody, they don't do that for trucks. Now, I don't know about you, but you encounter more trucks than you do trains out here on the road. And they need truck drivers to actually come in and educate in driver's ed. But still, that doesn't, that helps the high school kids. That doesn't help, the 50 billion adults that don't know how to drive around trucks. Larry Fisher's calling me number one. Ryan Clark says, I quit trucking in 01, got back into it in 16. Most definitely don't remember drivers acting like this back then. Daniel's going to bed. Everybody said goodnight to Daniel. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time. You can't be positive all the time, but you just can't let stuff get to you. Do I get angry? Yes. Remember, I used to, anybody who's heard my music know that I get angry. I do get angry, but see, that's my outlet. My music's my outlet. And, like, for example, last Thursday, when I was at a dock for 10 hours, instead of getting angry about it, I just did, 4 live feeds that day. Steve Berger's in the house. What's up? Peterbilt Mark says, Atmia rocks. Thank you. People pulling trailers and caravans need special education around trucks, says Stephen Miller. You somehow set off my Google Talk. What? So, but it's all attitude, people. It really is, man. So, I'm going to make my last video public again. And here's the thing, guys. I know that the Snyder Finance guys over here have it a little bit harder than I do. And all I was trying to say in the message was hang in there and you're going to get through it. That's all I was trying to say. It's not about, numbers. I had Snyder Finance level numbers last year with that Peterbilt. That's why I got this truck. It's all in your head. It's all your attitude. That's how you get through this. Last year at this time, I was spending $10,000 on a turbo repair. Okay. And I remember a friend of mine called me up. I was sitting there in the hotel. And he goes, Steve, how are you not losing your SHIT? How are you not losing it? I'm like, what good is it going to do? I've got the means to fix it. The most frustrating thing was I had to go back twice because they didn't fix it right the first time. And how do you deal with negativity? It's attitude. Right, Kevin and Ollie. It's like I said last night. It's all in how we handle it. Right. Watch the positive stuff. Here's a little trick I do, guys. Let's pretend you're having a bad day. And your mind's working against you. You're getting this depression going. And it happens. If you have satellite radio, put on one of the comedy channels. If you have YouTube, put on, find something from like George Carlin or Richard Pryor, some old comedian, and just find a YouTube video and just play it. Find something that makes you laugh. And it'll make you feel better. Jeffrey, I bragged about how you've brought me off the ledge. There was a time where Jeffrey was the one that said, Steve, it'll be okay. Zach Robinson says he loves listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm not familiar with that. Seaburger says, I'm a salty person. I see nothing but negative. But yeah, Steve and I have had long phone conversations. Okay, so let's talk about Steve Berger for a second, okay? You guys remember Dan the Sandman video, right? You guys remember that video. Was that not a positive moment? Steve knows how to be positive. He could be joking. I think he needs more music in his life. I think he needs to take a guitar with him on the road. But, Cobra says, I'm telling you that CB does things to these drivers' heads. Well, yeah, it's CB Rambo is the early version of the keyboard trolls, It's easy to criticize. Here's the thing, man. Everybody's so quick to get on the internet and say, I disapprove of this. Okay, so big deal. And how many of these other YouTubers do you watch their videos? And you ask yourself, who cares? Like the whole Traveloco thing. Like, who cares? Kevin and Ollie had a really good live feed night before last. And that's exactly what he talks about. He's doing well at Traveloco. And if you're not working for Traveloco, why even talk about him? Anthony says, I used to go on Facebook Live and rant and do stupid jokes to relieve stress when I'm on the road. Right. Jeffrey likes says, Citrus Man, I have a gig lined up, boys. So, but, guys, it's all attitude, man. If you have the right attitude, we'll conquer everything else. That's all there is to it. So, anyways, I'm going to make the last video public again. And what's it titled? I can't remember the title. My message to new Schneider ICs is what it is. Message to new Schneider Choice owner operators. We're not called ICs anymore. Yeah, Steve Berger. I haven't talked to you about it because you're dealing with some major stuff, but Jason Perry says I'll be home tomorrow and my stress will be washed away with blue cans. Right. Big Rich is pooping on something. Did you see Jay Cannell's video? Yes. See, Jay Cannell, I like that dude. He gets a lot of hate. But I met him personally. He was a cool dude. I met him in Harrisonville, Missouri, Loves. And then I ran into him at GATS, chatted a little bit. He's a very intelligent person. And his latest video with Trucker's Coach is really good. So, and see, here's the thing though. Cannell, if I know Cannell, He got Coach's permission, because I think Daphne was on there making positive comments about it. And they had fun with it. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff we need out here. So, but, guys, we got to support each other. We have to hold each other up instead of tearing each other down. That's the problem with the internet culture, is that we're too quick to tear everybody down. You know, if you see a celebrity and they fall down, we're quick to tell them that they fell down. You know, it's like I remember one time there was a driver making fun of a new person that was backing. And I said, well, do you go to the public pool and push, you know, little kids into the deep end and laugh at them when they don't know how to swim? You know, that's kind of what we do. We're quick to tear each other down. If we build each other up, we wouldn't have 90% of the issues out here. Hours of service, ELD mandate, shippers and receivers. You know, what happens when you go to a shipper receiver and they have a positive attitude? What happens? You have a decent experience. Even if you have to sit there for 8 hours, you're going to be like, well, at least they're nice here and they have a good facility, and, you know, and I'm getting detention pay. So, Big Rich says, helped the Swift tonight. Didn't want my hood lying on the ground, but still did my part. Right. You know, doesn't matter what your motivation is. You know, your motivation is, it might just be nice just to get yourself through the door. Jeffrey Like says the only place for the gig that would take us was the Pontiac Silverdome because it's half tore down. Anthony T says, I've actually bought dinner for some drivers that were having a bad day and actually sat and listened to them. Yeah, that's what I do for Burger. You know, he has a bad day, man. I'm like, dude, tell me about it. You know, then I make him laugh. And then, you know, it's all good. You had a decent experience at the Des Moines scale today, James. I thought I might have seen you today, but obviously it wasn't if you were in Des Moines today. So I'm in Oklahoma, or I was in Oklahoma. Stephen Miller, us truckers need to watch on YouTube for Trucking Girl. I can't say that name. She's in Canada now, and you'll see why she has such a big following. It'll make you smile. Well, good deal. Yeah, the tandem's all the way to the rear. He didn't know how tandem placement impacts backing and turning. Schooled him and sent him on. Right, you know, we're all learning out here. You should learn something new every day, guys. Even if it's something stupid. You know, I'll tell you what, man. I picked up a Neo show, right? And, you know, you guys saw my live feed. I was like, hey, I got a door, yay. And so I went and got my door, right? It's like pitch black. I probably did like 14 pull-ups to get back because it was dark and there was no lines to go by. And I couldn't back to save my life, you know, and I've been out here for 9 years. So we all have days like that. You were in Missouri yesterday and this morning. Well, I saw a truck similar to yours in Oklahoma today, in Oklahoma City. Big Riff says he learned that he's not a fan of Faygo. I don't even know what that is. And then you jumped. Make sure your wife isn't watching over your shoulder when you watch Trucking Girl, LOL. Ah, she's cool. Soda made in Michigan. Oh, okay. Well, you know, my problem with soda made in Michigan is that doesn't Michigan have water issues? Most of it. So, Like, welcome back. You know, what does he do in live feeds? He tells everybody welcome back. You know, that's a cool thing. That's interesting to me. I like that. Big Rich says ICP equals poop. I agree there. Fago equals ICP. So, but yeah, it took me like 14 tries to get back into the spot. And, you know, we all have days like that. I'll tell you a funny story. So, I was at Transland at the time, and the owner of the company used to drive his pickup around and kind of just check things out, you know, make sure everything was good. It was late at night, and they have these slanted spots that, even to this day, I can't quite back into them like nicely. And so I circled around the empty lot, and I stopped and I pulled back, and I was like, well, I want to back up a little bit. So I backed up, and I ended up just nudging a trailer. And the owner was literally right behind me in his pickup truck. He saw me do it. So I get out, and he's like, I go, man, did I hit that trailer? He goes, yeah, I was wondering what the hell you were doing, you know? And so I was like, man, I didn't damage it. He goes, oh, no, you're okay. You're good. You know, so, I said, well, I was just readjusting because I decided to park over here. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes, I'll tell you a story. So he tells me a story about, he was in this empty parking lot, and there was only one thing in the parking lot. It was a dumpster. And he managed to hit the dumpster, you know, back when he was a rookie. You know, it was a cool experience, you know, because this guy was super cool, you know, and that's what I mean. He could have been like, I'm gonna make sure you don't have a job, you know. He could have been like that. I didn't damage the trailer. You know, later on, people told me, well, if he hadn't gotten out to look, he probably would have like said, okay, this guy hit a trailer and he didn't bother to care. But you know, but I did care. So why are we talking about chips? Larry Fisher says I'm weird. I don't like chips, but usually eat Chex or Cheerios. Why are we talking about chips? Why is Pill Rider so hateful against kettle chips? Larry Fisher says water's okay. They filter it through trucker socks. Pale Rider. Dumpster. Did you say dumpster? That's an inside joke. Let's talk firearms. Jeffrey, I don't know anything about firearms. Pale Rider is a Doritos guy, says Steve Berger. Glock 30, Glock 23 on deck, Glock 21. .62. You should have just hit him and left like everybody else. How about them pickle flavor chips from Lay's? Why are we talking about potato chips? Where did we get to potato chips? I woke up at a ship after spending the night there and nailed a blindside 90 into a door flawlessly. Rest of the day I couldn't straight back. Yeah, right, Anthony. There are some that you're like, oh man, this is gonna be a challenge, and you get it in one swipe, and then you're like, oh, this is gonna be easy, and then it takes you like 14 times. You guys are talking about chips still. Steve Berger likes salt and vinegar. And Larry says pickle chips smell like vomit. You know, I remember I was in the break room one time and I popped one of those bags of popcorn in the microwave, you know. And some lady comes up and goes, oh, I can't believe you're eating that. You know, microwave popcorn smells like baby vomit. Yeah, I ended up throwing that bag away. Here's a pet peeve, since we're on the food for some stupid reason. People criticizing while I eat or what I'm eating. I can't believe you're eating that. Or something like that. That's a pet peeve of mine. James says, I like truckloads of chips. That pays well. I agree, James. That's the beauty. See, that's the thing. I'll put up a little bit of micromanaging with some of the accounts we have because we do a lot of beverages and snacks. And guess what? People love to eat no matter what time of year it is. Jeffrey likes all about the caramel M&Ms, just like Ike Stevens. Ike Stevens likes them caramel M&Ms. I tried them. I didn't like them. So, all right, guys, we're talking about food and Glocks. So, Ryan Clark says, am I the only person here that has horrible pains behind the ears after I eat something that has onion on it? Yep, you're the only one. Cobra says, I go hard on double stuffed Oreos. Christian Trucker's in the house. I'm eating sardines and yogurt Greek strawberry. What? What did you do? CT says, I'm eating sardines and yogurt Greek strawberry. That's a weird combination. Is that a southern thing I don't know about there, Christian Trucker? Hey, they say you should learn something new every day, right? So I'm sitting here looking at the Qualcomm, and I didn't realize that there's a button you push that turns the screen off, so it's not bright in your face. I just now learned that. 6 years of dealing with Qualcomm, I just now learned that. Yeah, sardines are great, says Jason Perry, but I don't think I'd finish them off with yogurt. Larry Fisher says CT is Prego. Asian My Show's in the house. How's it going there, Asian My Show? Snore Lordios. Okay, so Jeffrey saw about Snore Lordios, right? And I don't see him in here, but let's talk about Whamma Jamma. So back on the Periscope, when Periscope was all the rage for all of us Schneider guys, I had a cold, right? And I did a Periscope. My nose was like as red as that red live button you see on the left corner of your screen or whatever. And it was red. And so he did a joke Periscope. What was it called? The Snot something Rock 2000. Jeff would remember. And anyways, he talked about he went out of his way to make these props, and he had like Snorlordios. He had Cheerios, but it said Snorlordios, and then it had what was the Ponzi cream or whatever? It was something. It was funny. I just explained something for 3 minutes, and you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. 4 Trucker Dave's in the house. Christian Trucker says he was stuck at Schneider Yard. That's all they had left. Yeah, it kind of sucks when you can't get to the Walmart, right? Tyler Wheats with Ponzi cream. That's what it was, Jeffrey right. Anthony says you should have a rancid can of sardines in the sleeper when you turn your truck in, Jenny. Jordan, what's up? I collect trip sheets, gotta catch them all. Says Dennis. Alright guys, this video's gone long enough. I'll make that video public as soon as I get off here. And you guys be the judge. Was I being arrogant? Do I not know what I'm talking about because I don't have a Schneider Finance truck? Or is it really just my message is, you know what? Hang in there. You'll be all right. So. Seaburger says, remember the scope when he showed Jeff snowmobiling? I've laughed my butt off. You were trying to make more videos to monetize. Right, Dennis. Guys, you know, I might monetize my videos, but that's not my motivation. I did one video trying to get hits, and it was the Night Swift thing. Guess what? After a day, I pulled it off. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to be one of these guys. My monetization paid for my camera. And, yeah, that's what it did. So, you know, but it's never been, you know, anytime I do a creative video with music, I don't get monetized for that because guess what? You can't monetize copyrighted music. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And I appreciate it, guys. I really do. I do this for you guys and for myself too, because I'm narcissistic. I want to talk to a camera and have everybody look at me. So keep your head up, guys. See ya.